So I bought this plasma. Yes, I did buy it. It's not a sponsored video, and they didn't give me one, which is... Anyway, so we got this package. It comes with all the extra bits of the gloves and the helmet and some consumables and bits. Tear into it and have a bit of a look-see. Enough rambling. Let's plug it all together and see if we can cut some steel with it, eh? Maybe I'll read the instructions. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Anyway, let's get it all together and see what we can do with it. Right, so we're all hooked up. I've got an airline all hooked up to the regulator off the back there. And the earth leads all hooked in, and I've just got it connected to the bench so we can cut some stuff. And the handpiece is all hooked up. Now, hang on, let me turn the juice on. Ooh, shiny. Okay, now it has a few different modes, which, you know, I don't know why it has. Anyway, so we've got standard, and it changes to perforated. I guess you can cut mesh or something with it, I guess. Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, so standard, and T2 and T4. For those who don't quite understand what T2 and T4 are, it's the way you pull the trigger. So when you hold the trigger on the handpiece, you can hold the trigger in and it'll work, and then you let it go and that's when it stops. That's on T2, but on T4 is you click it in once and it'll stay on, and then you click it again and it'll turn off. If anyone wants to know what the T2 and the T4 stand for. You also got this little air test. I don't quite know, just to make sure you got air. And then you push it again and turn it off. Well, that works. And then you got your good old dial for settings. It only goes from 20 to 30, so okay, just the way it is. I guess that must be for lighter sheet metal, and flat out for up to 12mm. I don't think I've actually got a piece of 12mm sitting here, so let's cut some steel. Here we go. So I've got a few different pieces of stuff just laying around. Got a really thin piece of aluminium. I think it's about 3mm. 3mm anodized aluminium. And this big chunk of heavy, I don't know. I think it's formed, like, not, what do you call it? Cast. I think it's cast. So it's a heavy piece of cast, and a 3mm piece of mild steel, flat bar. And a big chunk of 10mm. So, and it's galvanized. So they're all connected to the bench where the earth is connected, so hopefully they'll cut without too much trouble. Put you guys on the tripod and you'll be able to see how neatly they cut. Cut a few and see what happens. I do like the feel of a new helmet. Yep, gotta say. Let's cut some stuff. There you go. My poor little air compressor just keeps cutting in and out all the time. But anyway, so I cut the 3mm aluminium really nicely. It's quite a nice cut. A little bit of dross on the bottom, slag, whatever you want to call it. The cast steel, it was struggling at the start, but I think it was because of all the paint and crap that was still on it, so it wasn't getting a good earth maybe against the bench. I'm hoping so. But anyway, so the 3mm mild steel flat bar cut through super easy, really easy. So there was no trouble there. Not that I was expecting trouble, but it cut through really well. And last piece that I just cut was 10mm. Well, it's flat bar, I guess. It's a chunk of angle, but I mean it's 10mm, and heaps of slag on the bottom. But that's probably, I don't know, maybe air pressure. Like, I'm not a expert in plasma cutting, but it seemed to cut really well. Like, that's a pretty nice cut, although being galvanized. Because, like, if you try and do it with an oxyacetylene torch, it's all sorts of colors come off it, and oxyacetylene you can't cut through aluminium. So anyway, so it cuts through flat bar and stuff all right. Let's try and do a bit of sheet steel. Let's try that. Oh yeah, by the way, what I was saying before about the 4T and the 2T, it's the opposite. So 4T is you pull the trigger once and let go and it stops. But with the 2T function, you pull it once and it stays on until you pull the trigger again. So 4T is the general use, like normal people do. Well, if you're used to MIG welding, that's sort of the way it'll work. Actually, I think my welder has a 4T, 2T function, but I never use it. Pull the trigger and it works, you let it go, it stops. That makes sense. So here we go, I've got a piece of 0.6mm. Actually, I think it's a bit of sign white, like it's got a plastic vinyl on the back for sign writers. So it's 0.6mm, and this is just a little piece of 1.6 mild steel. So I'll have a little cut with them, see how we go. Okay, that bit of 0.6mm, it was, like effortlessly. Here's the cut on the first cut. It was really slow and it was a bit jaggedy. I don't know why, because I was using straight edge. You look at the dross, there's a ton of slag hanging off the back there. But then so then I sped it up, like pulled it a lot faster. And how neat a cut is that? That is really good, and minimal amount of slag. So minimal slag on this side compared to this side. So speed has a fair bit to do with it. And the 1.6 mild steel and the slag that is on it, like it's nothing to get rid of. Chip away with the chisel, and then you got yourself a nice edge. It's a little bit sharp, but and it would hurt. Flappy disc on it, no trouble. So that concludes the cutting section of this video. Let's actually make something with it. Actually, I should make you've seen CNC plasma cutting tables. Yeah, well, I can't do one of them. I might just make a little tray, hey? A little tray that we can cut material over and takes the smoke and stuff away. I just forgot that my side of my bench is made out of timber, and I was blowing all hot slag there. Yeah, that's not real good. Still a little bit of steam coming off it. I had to douse it with a bit of water, or I would have burnt my shed down. Let's make a cutting table, hey? And not have this happen anymore. There we go, I think I can do something with that. Perfect. Just going to make a grate in it, and we're away. We'll have the bars go crossways or long ways. Now I've just got to work out where to put it. Okay, gotta get drastic. I'm cutting the hole. bit of 10mm cut on an angle. I think that's probably 12mm thick. You can see where it cut through the weld and then the steel. It's not so bad. That bit's junk, all twisted. That bit I'm keeping because it's nice and flat. I always keep bits of steel. Don't ask me why. So, the old Unimig Viper Cut 30. Well, I think it's a good little unit myself. It certainly performed the way I wanted it to, and cut more than I thought it was going to. And it fits nicely on that cart now that I cut the back end out of it. Hopefully that trolley handles everything I can put it through. I haven't really taken it outside yet, and that was the design of the big caster wheels on the front from a previous video. The link is in the description on that build. Anyway, the downsides, it has a 10 amp plug, right? Instead of a 15, but as soon as I put it through something like this, it the little reset button pops out when you start cutting it, and that was the trouble I was having. Even the power points that I've got along the bench here, it goes through a power board, and it has the very sort of same thing. It has a little reset button on the end there. You can see it. It just resets when it gets past what it believes is enough. So it's on the borderline, and that was at its lowest setting. Like, it has a earth leakage and everything, and that's on when the plasma cutter was just on 20 amps, not 30. So that's the only downside. The other thing, not necessarily not happy with, but the downside is the helmet that came with the kit. Like, a beautiful helmet, wore really, like, it was really comfortable and plenty of vision. It was really good. It's not a high-end helmet by any means, but I found it very comfortable. But you couldn't see anything with the plasma. I found a plain old pair of sunnies were just as good for myself. Anyone else can do it however they want, but anyway, I use the sunnies. As long as you use a glove, that's the important thing, because those bits do get hot, although when it cuts through the thin sheet metal, it's just over here. Like, when it cuts through this tiny, and when I mean tiny, it's just 0.6. When it cuts through that, you know, this is not hot at all. So it hasn't absorbed much of the heat. So the other thing, I was quite happy with the way I made this little tub. Yes, it's an old laundry tub. No, I'll never ever use it again. But it certainly works. And these were all just sort of scrap steel anyway, off an old Z bar that was laying around, catching the sparks in the bucket. So it doesn't leave a mess on the concrete or melt the plastic buckets around it. So I've made it the same height as the cutting saw, the metal cutting saw, and the same height as the roller. So I can put something long or big, or move the roller out of the way, or bring it out here somewhere if it's a big long piece. Complements the area, as to say. And I've just put a brand new light just above there. So there's plenty of light. Now we're away. So there we go. That's the Unimig Viper Cut 30. I'm quite happy with it. I don't have a CNC or anything to test that capability side of it out. I'd say it'd be no trouble. Like, I've had the old dodgy Cut 50. Like, when you only pay $240 for a plasma machine, you kind of get what you pay for. Anyway, this unit was nowhere near that. It was more than double. But I found it a very good machine. So anyway, I wasn't expecting it to be able to cut through the material that it did. I'm very happy with that. The size of the machine was bigger than I expected, so I had to make the trolley adapt, but we got that, got it all sorted. Downside was the power board unit that I was plugging into kept tripping it out, even on the 20 amps, but we got that sorted. Just run it straight to the power point, it's all good. So anyway, guys, I hope that was some help for you. For anyone that's thinking about the Cut 30, or if they're thinking, is it enough? I would have to say, if you're only doing up to a bit of 10mm every now and then, there's no point going the Cut 45. It is definitely a 15 amp machine, where this one I will probably use on the 15 amp circuit, but keep stripping the little power board out. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.